It's interesting to me as well that in the novel, there's an absence that's also at the heart of it, and that absence is to do with one of the characters who doesn't have a voice in the perspectives. I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about that decision.
Okay, so now this is interesting. So which character are you talking about? Because I'm
There's
seeing there are
two.
two possibilities here. It could be the son, or it could be Tasha's mother. And Tasha's mother is now dead, but her death and Tasha's care for her was kind of one of the things that precipitated the events leading up to the accident. So who were you referring to, Mary?
Tasha's mother.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think by the fact that I decided to start the book at the point at which I did, which is after everything had happened and Tasha had was coming home for the first time, um, it would have made it a lot more difficult for me to go back then and assume um, her mother's point of view. So it's kind of a logistical issue as much as anything.
It's interesting though too, because when you've got a book that's based so much on characterization, and one of the central characters doesn't have that voice, and yet her character comes across so strongly. Were there challenges in thinking about how to do that?
Yeah, I mean, she's a big influence in Tasha's life. Her mom was an alcoholic, and Tasha tried very hard not to be like her, and yet in some respects ended up being very much like her. And maybe tried so hard, and that was one of the reasons that she did become have the problem that she did. I think one of the things with Tasha is that her identity was affected by the fact that her dad left he left Tasha and her mom um, after fooling around with some students. So he was out of the picture. And then Tasha started taking on a caregiving role for her mother. And I think that was one of the things that um, has kind of contributed to that love-hate relationship that she has with her mother. And so that's one of those things that carries forward in the book.
Mhm.
And that's one of those things that Tasha has to resolve in retrospect. And there are other things about her mom's death that are slowly revealed that you realize, wow, as you start to uncover this explains a lot of what happened.